This episode of the Golf Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code GOLFSGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMN. All right, DJs, welcome back. It's your boy, Boston Capper. We got all three of us here tonight for the pick show. We got super producer Cam and God of Golf himself, Steve Shermer. Steve, welcome back, buddy.
Thank you. It is good to be back. I was a little bit off the radar for NFL Sunday last week because I was at Watkins Glen, losing a couple bets in that silly little race that went down too. But yeah, happy to be back talking about the NFL. Happy to not be talking about the Pro Court Championship and touting something called Patrick Fishburne, who was one of those guys who I'd probably had never seen a shot before, but bet on him anyways. Did pretty well for himself though. But good to be talking football. Good to be chopping it back up with you guys. Thanks for manning the ship while I was gone.
Yeah, I didn't watch a single fucking second of that golf tournament.
Is
not a single.
Is Pat and Kazire the new Kiz?
Oh, God,
I hope not.
Is he the one? Did Kazire win?
Kazire did win
By like 6 strokes.
I know. Yeah, I mean, I look back. I'm like, okay. I always like looking back. Like, all right, did I miss something? And he got like 8th at Barracuda like 2 months ago. Other than that, I mean, you could have banked on a second place finish back in 2017 there, and then a bunch of miscuts. I don't know.
I'm good. We've already talked about this too long. This is the NFL podcast. Yeah. So obviously, my guys play on Thursday night, so that'll be my Thursday night pick and my homer pick all at the same time. And then,
sure.
But you had some initial quick hit reactions you wanted from us, Steve. Right?
Well, first, I want to talk about, because we love. I think mushing is a very sensitive topic on this show. And yeah. I promised, actually in the NASCAR Discord, that I had a really, really good mushing story from the race. Okay. So I'm going to tell her right now. So every time we go to Watkins Glen, my dad and I, and there's a couple other people that come with us too, like we just throw like $10 into a little pool. We each pick like 5 drivers. Whoever's driver wins gets the pot. Nice. So I happen to have Shane Van Gisbergen, who is a very talented New Zealand guy, road course ace. Very happy I got it. He ended up making a very good pass on the green-white checker at the end there, and it looked like he was going to win. And my dad was antsy to get going. So he's like, all right, I'm just going to give you the cash. I'm like, Dad, don't give me the cash. I don't want it. And he's like, just take it. I'm like, fine. So literally as soon as I touch the cash, I hear a giant, oh, and I look on the jumbo screen, and Shane, who had like a 4-car length lead going into turn 7, got loose and knocked out of the way for the other guy and got past. So don't touch the money.
No
way. I did the same thing. I did the same thing with the Patriots Atlanta Super Bowl when we were down 28-3. I sent all my fucking money, all the bets to everybody. And there was a lot of them. They're like, don't send it to me yet. I was like, nope, here you go. I was like, you're taking the fucking money now. I was trying to do everything in the cosmic power to try to get this fucking thing turned around. And yeah, so that worked out for me. I was very happy.
Yeah, I called my dad a mush probably 30 times on the way out. So, but I just listen, don't ever touch the money. That is the best lesson you can get there. But enough NASCAR talk, enough golf talk. So I had some rapid fire questions for you guys. We're through 2 weeks. I would say probably a pretty chaotic 2 weeks in the NFL. Very topsy-turvy. I did not have a very good betting week last week. Week 1 went all right, but usually with through 2 weeks, we start getting a little bit, a few data points about how things are going to go. So just wanted to get some rapid fire questions for you guys. So Cam, I'll start with you.
Okay.
Who's the NFL MVP after 2 weeks?
Derek Carr. No, Baker Mayfield.
Why?
Yeah. I didn't get to watch week 1 because I was on a plane, but how there's a debate, like, was Joe Flacco actually elite? Like, I think that's the new Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield is the new Joe Flacco. Like, he looked insane, and it's just so funny that the Browns dumped him for Deshaun and gave him that insane contract, and now and then he just goes to the Bucks and is now like leading that team and actually
He went to Carolina too.
he went
Carolina.
to Carolina, and that it makes it even funnier now that Bryce Young sucks. And then he went to the Rams, and then now he's on the Bucks, and he looks like a completely new football player. And he was out there making insane runs, like in just absolutely insane plays. He looked like, man, he looked like Patrick Mahomes at some points. Like I'm like there's not even I don't know if there's a better comparison but he just looked awesome, and that team was awesome. And yeah, I picked the Lions. I was like, all right, I'm gonna, like, this line makes no sense. The Lions are coming off kind of a sloppy game. Dan Campbell absolutely threw that game away, but I mean, Baker just looked awesome, and it was hard to watch being on the Lions, but it was kind of cool.
Okay, so you think he might be on the Rich Gannon trajectory then, of a guy who got pretty much dumped by his former team, goes to a new team, and ends up becoming the NFL MVP. You know, despite the fact Rich Gannon
Do you know
went
who
through
Rich Gannon is? Cam, do you know who Rich Gannon is?
Don't
Don't Google it. Don't
do it.
No, I don't know who Rich Gannon is.
I knew it. He's too young. That was a super old reference.
Yep.
So he took the Raiders to the Super Bowl and like ridiculously like had a great season and lost to the Bucks, and I think it was 2002.
In 2002, yeah, he had the aging Jerry Rice, aging Tim Brown, and he would only throw like 5-yard passes, and he would just like go like dink. He literally dinked and dunked to the MVP that year.
Gruden was the coach. The year before, and then he went to Tampa. So who was the Raiders coach for 2002?
The immortal Bill Callahan.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
That guy sucked.
There you go. All right, Capper, who about you? Who's the NFL MVP after 2 weeks?
I mean, I guess to take it away, you gotta beat him. So Mahomes is still 2-0. I mean, he hasn't looked great, but I mean, it's the Chiefs, and they get a tough matchup with Cincinnati. They match up really well with them. He played well. Kelsey looks fucking like dust. And now we're going to be without Pacheco. So we'll see. But until somebody beats him, I'll just keep it with Mahomes, because if he leaves that team is trash.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go with Josh Allen, MVP after 2 weeks. I know he didn't do much with the stat category in Miami, but he single-handedly willed those guys to a win against, I guess, a very talented Cardinals team, based on what we saw last week. And that offense, besides James Cook, who looks pretty good, but the receivers are pretty.
Shakir looks good.
He's like 5 for like 50. He's like
he's like a little Wes Welker. He's like a little slot guy, man. That's fine.
He's very poor man's Wes Welker.
He's young. Wes Welker wasn't Wes Welker either. You know what I mean? Like, there was a reason. Like he was. I think
Wes
Welker wasn't great before he was.
Khalil Shakir reminds me of like Willie Snead. Okay,
yeah,
I think that's
a bad comp.
That's not a bad comp. They're basically the same player.
Willie Snead sucked.
Well, he might suck too, but Josh Allen's making him look pretty good. And I think, I don't know really how they're doing it with this offense, but it's working. And I do have concerns about him getting injured at some point. I mean, he already hurt his hand, but he's my MVP after 2 weeks. All right, Capper, I'll throw it over to you. Most surprising team after 2 weeks.
Fucking Saints.
Okay,
that offense looks legit. Yeah, I mean, I got stuffed in a locker on my survivor pool, lost my first week bets against them. Like, listen, Dennis Allen's still a fucking idiot, but this cat that they brought over for offense, I mean, Jesus, man, they are humming. Like, he's Derek Carr's under center. They're using play action like so well. It's crazy how open some of these guys are getting. The offense is fun to watch. It's crazy to see Derek Carr chuck a ball 60 yards on target. It's wild. And
guess who has an 85-1 future on them to win the Super Bowl?
Let's not get too crazy there, Kim. I'm
gonna sell it over on Prop Swap or something for like $1,000 right now.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's why I'll buy it too.
But yeah, I mean, I think they're easily the most surprising team. Easily.
Okay. All right, Cam, what about you? Who's the most surprising team?
Yeah, Saints for sure are my most surprising team. With how much our co-host Boston Capper has talked down the Patriots,
Dude, they suck.
haven't looked terrible. Like
Bro.
they haven't looked like the worst team in the NFL.
Brissett has thrown
Patriots suck.
147 yards is the highest he's fucking thrown. Shut up. He threw to Hunter Henry fucking 9 times last game. He's fucking terrible.
All right, let's table the Patriots talk for the Thursday night game. So, all right, I'm gonna mix it up because you guys both said the Saints. I'm gonna go with the Vikings, and I think everyone was like, "All right, this team's gonna suck." You got Sam Darnold, and like I said, I didn't watch much of the Sunday games, but I caught the highlight of the bomb that Sam Darnold threw, and I just kind of assumed, okay, like maybe like underthrew it. Justin Jefferson got away. That was in stride, like perfect throw, and taking down the Niners, who was the favorite for the Super Bowl in the NFC coming into it. I would say their defense is better than what I thought it was. I just wrote up that they just kicked the crap out of the shitty Giants, which we'll get to in a little bit. But yeah, that was impressive. And the 2-0, that's pretty good. All right, most disappointing team. Cameron, go to you.
The most disappointing team. Oh man. I mean, the Ravens have to be that team. Starting out 0-2 in that first game against the Chiefs. Lamar looked good on the ground, but he still can't throw the ball. He can't throw the ball accurately. He can't hit even like remotely close to his receivers and at least give him a chance, which was the only knock he had on his playoff run last year. I mean, everyone's going to hold on to them and say they can, make a playoff run and, they'll make the playoffs for sure. But I don't know, man. And I mean, I'm in AFC North Twitter pretty hard, and people calling for Harbaugh's job and like all this stuff already. Like, it's not a good time. It's a great time to be a Steeler, but not a great time to be a Ravens fan or a Bengals fan with all these talks about their money situation too. So
okay, all right, Capper, who's most disappointing team so far?
I mean, that was going to be mine too. So I guess shit, I don't know. I guess the Bengals too, right? I mean, they came so slow out of the box and got beat by a terrible Pats team. Then they lose to KC. This week doesn't look too bad, but I mean, T. Higgins is hurt. Jamar Chase is clearly having attitude problems about his contract. Like this has disaster season written all over it, and they're wasting Joe Burrow's prime.
Okay, all right. I'm going to the Lions. Most disappointing team.
Interesting.
They should have lost. They should have lost to the Rams in week 1, and then they laid a complete egg against the Bucs last week. And I'm saying most disappointing because that was the trendy Super Bowl pick out of the NFC. We're like, oh, I'm going to go with the Lions. I heard Lions everywhere. It seems like that's a team that kind of maybe bought into their own hype. And I haven't really been all that impressed by them through 2 weeks. Jared Goff has been just okay. The defense has had some lapses too. Dan Campbell's made some interesting decisions with the coaching. So I think that's the most disappointing team through 2 weeks, at least for me. All right.
Yeah, it's fine.
Rapid fire. Yes, no. Will these teams make the playoffs?
Okay.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes.
Okay. Los Angeles Chargers.
No.
Minnesota Vikings.
No.
Yes.
Cleveland Browns.
No.
The Jets.
No.
Okay. So you guys agree so far. Washington Commanders.
No.
The Bears.
No.
I don't know. Maybe
3 teams aren't coming out of the North. I still think the Packers.
Yeah, but I was kind of thinking about the NFC East at the same time. Like one of those teams has to win the division. Is it
Philly?
It's not going to be Philly. I don't think. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be Dallas.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Philly's defense is bad.
Washington's defense is also pretty bad too.
Yeah.
All right. The Falcons.
I can see it. Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The Cardinals.
Yeah, I can see that. They're playing such a tough division, but yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no on that one. I'm gonna say they end up like 8-9 this season.
Okay. All right. So you guys disagree.
But Kyler looks awesome. I will say that.
For now, it's trick or treat Kyler. I've had him in fantasy a lot, and he's gonna rip my heart out soon. All right. Snap Super Bowl pick after 2 weeks. Cameron, why is it gonna be, who's Pittsburgh facing in the Super Bowl?
I did text you that, guys.
Yes,
That it's gonna be the Steelers versus the let's go. Oh my gosh, I don't even
say
know.
a name.
Let's go
rapid
Bucks.
fire.
Bucks. Jeez, pulling fucking
Bucks.
teeth.
Okay. All right, Capper. What about you?
Oh, Kansas City beats fucking.
You think they three-peat still?
Yeah, I do. Dude, look at this league. There's a bunch of mediocre trash teams. They have a great organization. So yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I think they actually three-peat. And I think they'll beat we'll say Dallas finally makes it through and then gets their dick kicked in the Super Bowl.
That's so gross.
I'm gonna have to take out a loan because my wife was born. So the last time the Cowboys won the Super Bowl was in 1995, but it was actually in 96. She was born in April, so 2 months after the Super Bowl. So she's never seen a Super Bowl, but she's been a diehard Cowboys fan her whole life. And she said that if they ever make the Super Bowl, that she's going to take out a loan and go. Even if she has to take out a loan.
All right, so it's her fault then.
Yes.
They've been bad for
almost
absolutely 20 years.
Yeah. No, she will tell you that too.
Okay, go tell her I said that too. All right. So I said earlier, I think Josh Allen MVP after 2 weeks. Maybe I was wrong about this Bills team. Maybe this is going to be finally the year that when everybody seemed to write them off after the heartbreak, maybe this will be the one where they finally vanquish the Chiefs. So I'll go with the Bills.
Nope.
I still think the Eagles are the best team in the NFC, despite the fact they have some issues on defense. Jalen Hurts still looks solid. Saquon's running the ball pretty well. They still got a good offensive line. I'm worried about 49ers with the injuries racking up. The Packers, I mean, we'll see about them. The Lions have been kind of disappointing so far. I still don't buy the Saints. So it's kind of process of elimination. And I think probably the Eagles are just the best of, I think, a pretty mediocre NFC overall. So I'll go with Bills Eagles.
Word.
Okay.
All right. Well, before we jump into the picks, let's pay some bills. The war against corporate gambling is heating up, and SGPN needs you to do your part. If you guys could take a couple seconds and rate and review this show and any of the shows on the network, it would be greatly appreciated. And most importantly, go tell a friend. Word of mouth is the heartbeat of SGPN. And Underdog Fantasy Pick'em is always adding to their awesome menu. They now got first team projections. There are a ton of ways to win with the NFL, college football, MLB, MMA, and more. And their lobby is jam-packed with profit boosts and no sweat entries. So sign up today with promo code GOLFSGPN to claim your first special pick and first time deposit bonus offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code GOLFSGPN.
Okay, let's move on to the Thursday night game, and we can double this as the Thursday game and the homer pick.
That's right.
So if you did listen to SGP last night, you already got Boston Cappers slightly inebriated.
Slightly.
Slightly takes. I wonder now that he has sobered up for this show, if he has any different takes than last night. But Capper, why don't we kick it off with you? Let's break down this game. How do you think the Patriots are going to do Thursday night as 6.5-point underdogs to the Jets?
Yeah, so 6.5 seems like a lot, right? But when I really think about it, short week, first time head coach, right? Look, it's not a fat ride. It's like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, right? So it's not super long. But this offense is not good, and we keep getting more and more injured. So David Andrews, limited participant today. He's the only worth a shit lineman we have. Darian Lowe didn't practice. City So didn't practice. So that's just on the offensive side. And that O-line, I don't know if you guys watched it. Like if the Jets are smart, they're gonna press our fucking receivers, and they're going to stick to 8 man in the box because our receivers aren't gonna be able to get any fucking separation off a press. So they're gonna stick 8 men in the box. They're gonna dare Jacoby Brissett to throw, and he's gonna get destroyed, dude. Like I thought I was going to see Drake May last week. Like he got hit hard a couple times, and that Jets defensive front, even though they lost, what's his name? I still think they're going to be able to get it. So not only on the offensive side, we lost Bentley, and then I was thinking about this. I was like, let me go take a look. So, did you know what we let Geno Smith do to us last week? He went 33 for 44 for 327 yards and a touchdown. Geno Smith. That is 75% completion percentage, over 300 yards, and a TD.
I was told Geno Smith was elite, though.
Yeah. So,
but Chris, I mean, that's kind of misleading. Like 1 TD off 300 yards.
Yeah, well, they ran the ball when they get down to the end zone.
Yeah, but they still only scored 20 points. Like,
yeah.
I
don't care. Our defense is not.
The only touchdown was that long ass pass to, like, that was obviously just like a blown miscommunication, blown coverage.
No, fucking Charbonnet. Charbonnet scored a touchdown too.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine, but I don't know. I feel like
Seattle's not very good either.
Okay,
like
that's what I'm getting at.
So Seattle's not very good. We had to go to overtime with them. The Jets defense is definitely legit. And look, their offense is their offense. It looks like they can be run on, but we'll see when they stack 8 men in the box and see if Brissett can. I think 6.5 is a little high. I'll still take it. I have no hope for this offense. And I think losing Bentley, he's a captain, linebacker spot. I think that spells trouble for us trying to handle Breece Hall and now this Bryson Allen kid too. Yeah, I mean, it's a short week. It's the Jets, so you never know. But yeah, this team is not as so I'm so irritated because anybody who actually watches that Seattle game was just as bad as any game I watched last year. It's such a bad product and it's such a bad team. It's like a 1965 football team.
Yeah, it was not fun to watch and not fun to lose a bet on either because, I mean, Geno Smith should have, they should have won that by a lot more than they did. Yep. And it's frustrating that they didn't win the toss in overtime and then all they had to do was go down and kick a field goal. And yeah.
First of all, what a stupid fucking decision too, by the way. You're the head coach. What are you doing? You get the ball. So we always let them take it. So, if you need to just kick a field goal, you got to get a touchdown.
They didn't. You think the Patriots believed in their defense?
They believe in their offense?
I mean, I don't know. I think I would have taken the ball. Yeah.
All right. So you're going with the Jets minus 6.5.
Yeah. So in Florida, it's still -6, but I'd take it up to 6.5.
Okay. All right, Cam, do you have any rebuttal for that, or are you also going to be on the Jets?
No, I'm not going to overthink this. It's the Patriots. It's the AFC East. AFC East. It's a division game in prime time. I'm taking.
How many division games? You know how many division games we won last year, Cam?
No.
We beat Zach Wilson. That's it.
But did you cover?
No, probably not.
That
was one of our 3 wins. That was one of our 3 wins last year. Year before that, I think we won another single game.
Do you know the Patriots record in New Jersey?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Trust me, I know. We own the Jets. I get it.
Yeah. How many of those wins are with Tom Brady though?
Thank you. And how many of those got without them is Zach Wilson?
2020 was the year he left, so 1.
Are there any wins with Cam Newton when he made an appearance for the Patriots?
Yeah.
No idea. When was Cam Newton? I forgot when Cam Newton was there. But they're 5-0 straight in New Jersey.
All right, we're not going to spend a lot of time with that. So, okay.
Yeah, too much time.
Okay. So you're going with Patriots plus 6.5?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I think logically I want to take the Patriots. I still don't believe in the Jets run defense, and that seems like the only thing the Patriots can actually do well. And the Jets is just their coaches are horrible. Saleh is a bottom 5 coach. Hackett is running a 2010 playbook right now. They look bland and boring, but historically, and I don't know, maybe this is a little bit biased, but I feel like these Thursday games are just terrible to watch. They're awful. It always seems like even if they have a prime matchup later in the season, one of those teams is going to be absolute dog shit, and it's going to be a terrible game. And it just seems like somebody's going to get blown out. So who's more likely to get blown out, the Patriots or the Jets? Probably the Patriots. So I'm going to go with the Jets with the points. Maybe this is just a Breece Hall, Braylon Allen show. And we just like, after like the halftime, we're just like, what the hell are we watching? And I don't know, we turn it off.
I have a new favorite primetime bet. Let me know what y'all think about this, but I did it on Sunday night and last night, but over on field goals. So if you don't have a dog in the race and you're just like, hey, I'm going to watch this football game, it's an awesome bet because you're just rooting for the offense to get to the other side of the field. And then you root for the defense to stop them once they get in a field goal range. Yeah. And it's always plus money. And it hit in the first half on Sunday night. And then last night it hit in like the third quarter. Yep. And yeah, I'm kind of addicted to it now.
So I've switched to that bet. I like that bet as well. Cause I used to do punts. I used to blindly take the over on the punts in primetime games, but now the last like 2 or 3 years, everybody's just going for it on fourth. That bet's dead. So I've actually been doing a lot more field goals. I know Steve, I usually tail Steve on whatever long field goal prop he takes because he takes at least one of those a week.
I do. I love the long field goals. It's a great thrill. Like once they get towards like the 30 to 40, you're like, all right, it's kind of the same thing as you're like, get a holding. Like, all right, okay, all right, stop, or get a sack. Like that's great. Like, all right, where are they spotted? Oh, it's a shitty spot, ref.
Have kickers gotten too good?
Kickers are really good.
Have kickers gotten too good? Like I feel like the only person I've seen miss a field goal this season was Justin Tucker.
Yeah, which happened to be the long field goal prop I was on, which is not great.
Yeah. That's
any thoughts about the total before we maybe take another ad break? It's at 38.5.
No,
you can't take the over.
It's wonky. I would just stay away from it, man. Like it's low. It could easily stay low. Thursday night games, like you said, are such a fucking slog anyway. And look, the Jets, Aaron Rodgers is still 40 fucking years old, man. 3-day turnaround from an NFL game. Like, yeah, it's going to be so kickoffs at 8:15. As long as the refs stay out of the way, this game will be over by 10:20.
Primetime unders are just a wagon.
Nothing but runs.
All right. I think it's under or no bet probably for this one. So, all right, we'll take another ad break and then we'll get to the rest of the slate. So listen, brought to you guys by BetUS, the bet with the best in the business with BetUS. BetUS has been around for more than 30 years. And you can bet anywhere, and there's tons of locations, including internationally. And they just launched an all-new live betting experience. Easily deposit using crypto and get lightning-fast payouts. Use our link to sign up and get 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits. Go to sportsgamepodcast.com/betus. That's sportsgamepodcast.com/betus. Promo code SGBN, so you know that we sent you. And BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook. And Rhythm is a proud partner, and they are the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive models in seconds and predictions on betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. Rhythm had a great NFL week 2 with 22.5% ROI on NFL spread bets and 44.3% on money line bets. You build your own model, copy one of the top ones from the leaderboard, or press build a model for me, and they'll give you predictions for every game and player prop. Plus, they got a ton of stats, research, trends, analysis to give you even more betting sites or betting insights. Claim your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamepodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamepodcast.com/RITHMM. All right, Steve, the only 2 teams that I think are worse than the Patriots are the Carolina Panthers and your New York Giants. What's going to happen this week, Steve? Well, I mean, look, I'm glad I didn't have to watch that debacle.
They should have won.
Oh, of course should have won, but they didn't have a fucking kicker. Of course they should have won.
So stupid.
But I mean, look, I also want to address too, like, you know, they set a record that no team has scored 3 touchdowns a game. And
that's such a weird, wonky, cherry pick stat.
It is, but they gave up 7 field goals. And while that is wonky, it means that they didn't stop them like from really progressing the ball. Like they didn't get any stops pretty much all game. I think Washington had 8 possessions. They only punted once, I think, in the game. The defense is terrible. And that's what's frustrating about the Giants for the last fucking decade is that it's a leaky canoe every single week. 1 week it'll be the offense that's just completely garbage and trash and just cost them the game. And then the next week they kind of get it a little bit together. Now, granted, the offense didn't look all that great against Washington anyway, some weak neighbors. And then the defense just lets it go. But this defense is confirmed terrible. The secondary is awful. Kayvon Thibodeau, complete bust. That was a giant that draft class is going to get Joe Shane fired for that, missing on Evan Neal and Kayvon Thibodeau. The Brian Burns trade, he's just okay. And they can't get stops on defense. And now, I mean, look, the Browns have had a lot of trouble on offense this year, but their defense is still really good. I think Jones is going to have a pretty poor game. He's going to get pressured and he's going to start seeing the ghosts, freaking out a little bit. And, Washington was not getting a lot of pressure. I mean, even I watched every throw of Daniel Jones. It still was it was okay. Like, if that's his best, then it's like, it's clear to everybody we have to move on, but like, we're not going to get any better at this point. Teams have figured him out. And I think it's going to be a really bad game from him coming out. So as much as I think this is a lot of points for the Browns, I could see their defense maybe scoring a touchdown to create the margin. So I'm just going to go Cleveland minus 6.5 on this one. It might be Drew Lock time fairly soon. It doesn't turn around because Dayball's got to save his job at this point. He's on the hot seat. I don't think he's going to go down with this clown, taking him here. All right.
All right, Cam, tell me why Pittsburgh Steelers are going 3-0.
Yeah. After that first quarter, I was getting ready to buy my Super Bowl tickets. I was like, we have a quarterback. He can throw the ball. He can actually run. I haven't seen a Steelers quarterback run before. It's been awesome. And then
Ben ran early, but I guess you were young when he was running early.
Yeah.
You had the great Cordell Stewart, who you thought still played for them.
He wasn't alive for Cordell Stewart.
That's true.
We already had this conversation.
Yeah, we had this conversation. But
we did.
He's basically Lamar Jackson, but he can throw accurately. I'm just throwing that take out there. I think he's better. I think he's going to be better than Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to have a better career. No, put it out there. I'll be on the record saying it. Justin Fields will have a better career than Lamar Jackson.
Oh my God! Okay.
I'm going to need you to clip this for yourself and release this to the.
I will.
We should put that on Ravens Reddit and see what happens.
Yeah, do it. I'm not scared, dude. I fight them on Twitter all the time.
All right, go for it.
So that second half wasn't very good, but I listened to the press conferences. Tomlin did say that they threw some crazy looks at him in the second half, and it feels like we kind of just went back to Steelers football where we don't really care what happens on offense. We just play defense and we just hope we can run out the clock in time, right? And it worked. Like, Sean Payton did not do a good job coaching and didn't really make good calls, I guess, down the stretch when he kicked some of those field goals. But the only thing that prevented the Steelers from scoring like 21 points in that first half was some really poorly timed penalties, and that basically just stunted the drive. So I saw today that this morning, Mike Tomlin, guess what he did? He went out and hired 3 NFL refs to come to practice, and they watched the entire practice and threw flags.
You mean former NFL refs, hopefully?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like NFL refs. And basically it's like, hey, this is not going to happen again. So honestly, like especially if Justin Herbert's hurt, I don't see why we aren't 3-0. We're favored by 1.5, which the Steelers never do well when they're favored, but I think we could see some points. I love like basically all the money right now is on under 35.5, but I think we could see some points.
I wonder if Herbert's going to play, right?
Yeah, I think he's going to play.
Yeah, he probably will. But what was his injury?
He had some sort of leg injury. I think they took x-rays and he's all right. So
Yeah.
I don't think they were.
Oh
really
no, I
set.
did see that. They did. The initial tests I saw were that it came back negative. Like he doesn't have anything crazy, but I mean lower body injury, like a couple sacks from Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt. I mean,
all Herbert's doing nowadays is fucking handing the ball off anyway. So
true.
Yeah. All right. I don't know. I think I kind of like the Chargers in that matchup. You got Dobbins and Gus Edwards who hate the Steelers in the Ravens space. So
I like the Chargers as well.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to our ATS.
It's a hardo off for the coaches too. Like who's the bigger hardo? Fucking Tomlin.
That is
Harbaugh.
true.
God, fucking both insufferable.
All right, let's move on to ATS lock of the week. Capper, let's start with you. What's your absolute stone cold lock?
So I've been going back and forth between two of them. I haven't made up my mind yet. So I'm loving Tampa Bay laying 7 against that atrocious Denver team. Denver on the road. They don't have their home field advantage. Bo Nix is awful. He is a very, very bad quarterback. Cam, you just watched him for an entire game. He is trash. But I also like I like Buffalo with Jacksonville traveling up. The laying the 5 worries me a little bit. I never like when Vegas lays 5 because it seems like they don't know what to do with the game either. But the vibes down here are not great around the Jaguars. Like the local media, the players sound down. ETN's talking about like they don't know why they can't score, but they got to do something to fix it. They came out. I just saw a stat. Trevor Lawrence is 0-7 in his last whatever games. Like he's got Mac Jones type numbers, man. I don't think he's it. So I like Buffalo. I like Josh Allen. I don't like Florida teams traveling north, especially with their headspace not right. Maybe Dougie Peterson's a little over his head. So give me. I think I'm going to stick with Buffalo laying the 5 at home with Jacksonville.
Yeah, this is starting to remind me of Doug Peterson's last season with the Eagles, where it just kind of
me too.
All the skeletons kind of came out with him, and he was ended up gone at the end of the year. So I kind of like that game. I consider it my lock, but just maybe I'm just so scarred from the first 2 weeks that just nothing seems real.
I know.
At this point, and maybe something really just stupid happens on Monday night. So, all right, Cam, what about you? What's your lock of the week?
All right, 1-1 in my locks. It should have been a 2-0, but that injury, the Graham Gano injury, was just a terrible coaching job by Brian Daboll too. Evidently, y'all had a whole roster slot that just was not there, like not being used, and they knew that he had a hamstring tweak. They could have picked him up when they put Gunnar Olszewski on the IR. Like what? It's unbelievable. That should have been a win. I'm gonna count it. It's a 2-0 asterisk.
Fine. There's a lot of golf outrights I can count as wins too if we're gonna use that logic.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, my lock this week. I'm throwing. I have not been good. My locks have been. I've liked my locks, the Colts, but I'm going back. I'm just going with my gut. I've been looking at too many numbers. And we got to go back to what worked in golf season. So I'm just going with my gut. And Sam Darnold won his Super Bowl last weekend.
Okay.
The Texans are a good football team. So we're laying the points on the road with the Texans for my lock.
Okay. All right. I don't hate that.
I actually got them minus 140 on the money line just now.
Okay. This is going to be a gross lock for me.
I think I know where you're going, and
I don't love this board, so I kind of settled into this. But you know who else won their Super Bowl last week? Malik Willis won his Super Bowl last week, and the Packers won their Super Bowl last week. They pulled out all the stops to beat Indianapolis last week, and I'm not. Jordan Love's not coming back this week, right? I think they've basically ruled him out until week 5. So they use. I think they use all their tricks last week. Listen, Tennessee's playing good football except for Will Levis. Like Will Levis, he's awful. But if they just run the ball Like the running game has been pretty good. Pollard's been good. One of the biggest mistakes I made in fantasy, I had both guys in the draft. I'm like, should I go Tajay Spears and Pollard? And all the fucking hype on Tajay Spears just got to me. I drafted him. Should have went with Pollard. He's been looking great so far. Ridley looks all right too. Defense been okay.
The catch he made last week was ridiculous.
I know. The defense has been all right so far. This season they should have beat Chicago. They hung tight with the Jets. So I think Vegas is begging you to take the Packers +3 here. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to take the Titans -3. I think they get their first win. They cover.
I like it. I did do a quick Google search, and Rob Domofsky of ESPN Milwaukee is quoted saying, "I was told that Jordan Love was really close to playing against Indy."
Okay, so stay tuned.
So maybe it's not as bad as people think. So I think it's pretty.
They'd be stupid. They'd be stupid to bring him back too early. That's your franchise quarterback. You just paid him $200 million. He can sit out another week and let it heal.
Yeah. I heard another report. They're not expecting him back until week 5.
Okay.
So maybe it's a situation where if they get in trouble with their record, like maybe break glass in case of emergency. But they're 1-1 right now. They can afford to go 1-2, give it another week's of rest.
Yeah.
They go for there. But yeah, I'll go with Tennessee.
Okay.
I like it.
All right. Moneyline dog. Cam, let's throw it over to you. What plus money dog is going to win outright this week?
I'm going to go with the Dolphins of Miami this week.
Jesus.
Same
theory on Malik Willis.
Yeah, hold on. Wait a minute. Is Tua starting?
No, they put him in IR.
You just put him on the IR.
No. He's still in the CAT scan.
Oh, you're right. Who's their backup?
Skylar
Thompson.
How
are you going to take a money line dog and not know who the
Never mind. Well,
fucking real.
Wait, you really thought if Tua was starting the game, there were 4.5-point dogs at that point?
Yeah, maybe. I'm switching it. I'm switching it though. I'm switching it right now.
All right.
Oh, I can't wait for this fucking solid analysis. How much research you put into this week? Didn't know Skylar Thompson.
All right. Well, you're deciding.
I know.
Let's throw it. No.
I know who the starting quarterback of this team is. The Carolina Panthers, baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
First win, and guess who's leading them to victory?
The Red Rifle.
The Red Rifle in
Vegas.
And he is going to light it up, and they're going to win. The 5 point, you're giving me 5 points against the Raiders?
Nice job.
Yeah, it's terrible. I might fire you after this episode. This has been fucking tragic.
With the worst team in the NFL.
So
and
you're going for the literal dead cat bounce. Is what you're looking for.
Yeah, the Raiders also won their Super Bowl last week. So
I don't know about that. I think the Raiders actually have aspirations. I don't think Pierce lets those guys sleep. I'm telling you, I don't think Pierce lets those guys sleep.
If they do not win this game, they are not win. They're going 0-17.
Well, they still got to play the Giants in Germany. So
yeah,
no,
it's not over yet.
The Giants win that.
So you're taking that money line 2-1.
Taking a money line. Let's see. I'm gonna bet it right now. You know what? Screw you guys. Betting it right now at 2-1.
All right.
There you go.
All right, Capper, what about you?
So I'm going with Arizona. I think they looked really good, and really they took the foot off the gas. I watched that whole game because I had multiple fantasy pieces in it, and Murray looked good, scampering around. The only thing that scares me is, like you said, he really is. He's just like trick or treat Tony, right? We talked about that already. But the Lions have been disappointing. It seems like Dan Campbell has been, since this championship game, even week 1, he made some pretty egregious coaching mistakes, and he was able to get away with it week 1. So I don't know. I like Arizona at home. The scheme seems good. Harrison's only getting better. McBride's only getting better. James Conner looks like, absolute stud. Defense has improved too, and I think maybe everybody's shiny toy with the Lions. I think they forgot that they were the Lions, and they're just like the Jets, and they're always going to be cursed. That's just kind of the way it is.
Okay. May I remind you that in week 1, I believe you said that if it's not more than 2-1, it doesn't make it move, and you just took a plus 120.
There's no 2-to-1s that I like.
Okay. All right. You know.
So the only other one I was looking at was the Rams 3-1 in San Fran. Because
I just don't think you should lie to the listeners like that. Okay.
That's fine. Fine. Fuck it. Fine. I'll bet the Rams then, because Brock Purdy looked like trash. And it doesn't even have anything to do with IU. Like it's more about the scheme than the players with Shanahan. Like, I mean, shit, Mason looks good. But I think the Rams backups are fine. I think they're fine. Tutu Atwell's fine. Jordan Whittington supposedly was like super good in camp. Stafford looks good. He get rid of the ball fast. Yeah, fuck it. 3-1 at home, divisional game. Yeah, I'll do that with McVay coaching against Shanahan. What's the heads up record with that? One of them owns each other. I can't remember which one who owns who.
I forget.
I actually already looked this up, and it's the opposite of what
I think the Niners own the Rams.
The Niners own McVay in LA, but when you go to San Fran, the Rams win.
Okay. Well, I don't care. I'm taking since Steve's gonna.
Andy also bet the Rams plus 7.5 already. So
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna get an angry text from Capper on Sunday that I bullied him into betting a 3-1 dog who was losing by.
Oh, maybe you'll get a happy one. Thanks for bullying me.
Maybe.
I think this generation needs bullying. Really. Like I don't know why we took it out of schools. Like some kids just need bullies. Like it's out of control. Like some of these kids need to be punched in the face.
All right. So here's the thing. I also think Carolina is going to beat the Raiders.
Yes.
I prefer taking the points in this scenario, but you're going to throw to the backup quarterback who, look, Bryce Young, I've been watching him. He's a whiny little bitch on the sidelines. And I have a feeling that there's probably some negative vibes in the locker room that might get cleared up now. And I respect Canales, the fact that he pulled the plug quickly. This is his Captain Phillips moment, saying, I'm the captain now. And I love that he just went with a quick hook. Instead of giving him like 7-8 games or anything like that, he said, no, this is my team. I'm going to make this move. I think the locker room's going to respect him for that. I think they're going to come out with more energy. And yeah, it's the Raiders. Baltimore handed them that game. So I'm going to go with Carolina, a rejuvenated team, gets their first win. Despite the fact I hate Andy Dalton's fucking guts for what he did to me in fantasy football about 10 years ago that everybody still talks about in our league. That's a very inside joke for one person listening. So
there was a game last year where Andy Dalton came in and he helped me cash my 5-leg underdog fantasy play for 1G. I think I won. I took his over passing yards and he blew it away. And they won that game. I'm pretty sure.
There you go.
Yeah, Dalton's a professional quarterback. Man.
Yeah,
like,
and
you're gonna get a good performance.
I love this play.
I mean, like he's still terrible, but he can get Deontay Johnson going. Adam Thielen's been bitching as well. Maybe he can get the ball a little bit too. Maybe he can start running it a little bit as well. So, I mean, there's a reason why like the big nerd analytics guys kind of like Carolina. Maybe there's all just Bryce Young to hold them back. So maybe they can finally, come to fruition what the spreadsheets were saying.
There is one guy that could ruin our party.
Who's that?
Max Crosby.
Oh, that guy's a fucking monster.
He could. So, all right. How about a total you guys like? Cam, what about you?
Let's stay with this game. Let's take the over 41.
Okay. Capper, what about you?
I like Houston and Minnesota over. I think it's prime, both teams, especially based on what Houston did in prime time, and they didn't look particularly great on offense. And Flores' defense, while improved from last year, is still not great. And so I think you can get a shootout, man, because their offense is still good. Even if with Addison still out, that Naylor kid's fine. He's good. So I'm fine with the 2 wide receiver set they got out there. And Darnold, like you said, is fucking chucking dimes. As soon as he's away from the Jets and bad organizations, he can fucking throw the ball.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go Chicago and Indianapolis for my total. I like the under 43.5 for this game. So Indianapolis has been run over with the ground game. I don't think DeAndre Swift is really that tough of a runner going to be able to do that. Caleb Williams has had a lot of problems and a rough start for his first 2 weeks here. Also, Anthony Richardson also not having a great start. So he looked absolutely terrible last week too. Chicago's defense is pretty good. So I think it's going to be kind of a struggle bus for both teams this week. I don't think the Bears can exploit what the Colts are bad at on defense. So I'm going to go with the under 43.5 on that one.
Like it.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Let's fill out your circuit card, Cam. What do you like?
All right. So another bad week, but that's what I like about this contest is that even if you start out bad, you can still kind of make it up. Just have to have a couple good weeks thrown in there as long as you go.
Or, and hear me out, based on how much research you're doing on picks, maybe the last place where you get the 100K, we don't research what quarter
that on Sunday afternoon when the Cardinals were just throttling the Rams, that went through my head. I was like, all right, we're just gonna go for the booby prize. That's what they call it. And you get $100,000 for getting dead last. Last year, the dude that got last, he didn't even know he was in the running for last.
No idea.
He just got a text or a call, and it's like, hey, you just want $100,000 for sucking at this.
Hey man, I'd take that.
Me too, any day. But there is quarterly prizes too. So even, if you can break off, a good.
All right, well, first quarter's dead. Let's try to get you on the right track. Who do you like week 3?
Yep.
All right. So I'm taking the Texans and the Panthers. I like the Lions against the Cardinals this week. I think it's kind of a bounce back, get right spot. I really want to take the Steelers, but I can be talked out of taking them. I've tried to avoid them, and it's bit me. Like it could have been 2 free wins, but so I'm kind of hesitant to go to them this week. But y'all can help me decide between the Saints and the Titans. And I know Steve likes the Titans a lot, and I definitely agree with all of his reasonings. But hear me out on the Saints. Yes.
What's the line for the Saints?
Saints are -2.5. They're at home.
Yeah.
And I mean, Saints fans have been watching the past 2 weeks. They're like, oh shit, we actually have a team. Like,
oh yeah.
So I think the Superdome's gonna be rocking. The Eagles in 4 different defensive metrics are in the bottom 3 since at the end of last season. They are bad on defense. And the Saints ran all over the Cowboys defense, who is definitely better than, I'm not going to say they're good or great, but they're definitely better than this Eagles defense. And I don't know. I think I don't even believe in the Eagles offense at this point. Like I think the Saints could do great. So I'm leaning the Saints, but do y'all have any reason to take the Eagles? Like I think the only thing about this Saints pick is that everyone is like, all right, maybe the Saints are real. Let's jump on them this week.
Yeah, this is exactly when they shit the bed. Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's the only argument.
I can see the Eagles being the public side here.
Yeah,
like
back spot.
You're getting.
They're not getting the full 3.
Well, actually, on Bet US, it's actually New Orleans -3 now, so you are getting the 3. You're paying a little juice -120 on that, but I can see the public going, I can get the Eagles money line against the Saints team that might be overachieving a little bit. I could see that being the square.
Giving the public too much credit.
Right now it's 22.78 on the money and 30.70 on the tickets.
Which way?
Eagles are getting 30% of the tickets. So the Saints are being bet, but they're not
early in the week.
It's not like a money split disparity there. But I'm done just going off I'm done just trying to fade the public. Like it's not always the best way to go, and I'm done trying to get cute. I think the Eagles defense is terrible. Like I think that might be the play.
Well, it's too early in the week to look at that stuff anyways. I mean, the public's not betting anything until probably Friday or Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah, I do like to see where the initial money comes in.
Right.
But yeah.
That's probably more indicative of where the sharp side is, to be honest. is the
Yeah,
early one.
yeah.
So it seems like if it's 70-30 Saints, seems like sharp side is probably the Saints on that one.
Yeah, it opened at
Yeah, they ain't open 2.5, and if it's a 3 on a couple books, then
it opened
Started moving that way.
oh well, that's just wrong.
well, maybe it opened at like 1 or so, and then Eagles lost. And maybe
No,
like-
I'm seeing it at -2.5 basically all day. But if y'all are seeing 3s, then it's probably
don't see
moving
it.
that way.
bet US right now -3.
Okay.
for the Saints.
Go use our promo code for 125% deposit bonus.
There you go.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I like Steve's argument for the Titans better, just because I get a little squirrely with a team that I had such a dislike for coming into the season, and just 2 weeks of maybe overperforming. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'd rather go with the Titans if it was me.
What about the Lions?
I like Arizona, so you're not going to get that from me.
Yeah, I don't have good feel about the game. There's something wrong with that team, that Lions team. They're not really clicking all that much.
Is
right
Dan
now.
Campbell gonna is he gonna overthink his bad decisions from last week? Like,
I don't
Probably.
know. Maybe.
yeah. I don't know. I'll decide. I might bet both, or I might do both and take the Steelers out just so I can not I might just bet the Steelers like money line on the side, you know.
Okay.
There you go.
All
Keep
right.
up the tradition of keeping them out while they keep winning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
get it.
and
I do.
if I want the minute I do, they're gonna lose. The minute I
Yeah,
put
no,
them
I
in, they're
understand.
gonna lose.
All right. What do we got? What we President's Cup preview? When we doing
Yeah,
that?
so I'm not going to be around next Tuesday, so we got to do the President's Cup
Yeah.
preview and picks early. There's like player props for high score already out there, so we can just go break that down.
Okay.
I'll talk about Royal Montreal. I haven't done my full research on it, but color me unimpressed by this this venue.
I'm so shocked.
It's by my good buddy Reese Jones. So we're
Ooh.
back with him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. I have a bad feeling about this US team. It's very uninspiring. They have not covered a road spread in any international competition since at least 2012 or 2011 or no, 2010. They haven't covered on the road. So I don't know. Maybe that's the market I go towards, but it's international team though is
It's not great.
it's not good either. This competition probably needs to get revamped, but maybe we'll save that conversation for Sunday.
All right, so
yeah,
we might do it early this
Sunday.
weekend. Yeah, well, yeah. So I don't know if we'll release it or go live, or we'll just release it when we normally release it. But either way, next time you hear from us, it'll be the President's Cup. Cam, thanks for coming on, sir. Steve, I'm sure I will text you later. And other than that, let's go make some money on NFL this week. Go Jets.